Hello everybody! We're 23 games into the 2024-2025 season, and I think that's enough games to talk about my favorite team in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns. Today we're going to talk about whether they should be contenders or not. In the beginning of the season, I was drinking the Kool-Aid that the Suns were contenders, especially with the hot start to the season with an 8-1 record. In those games, they showed me they were a different team than last year. They were shooting more threes, less mid-range shots, and they didn't look like hellish chickens going through the fourth quarters. During that hot start, they were a league best 6-0 in clutch games, while in the 2023-2024 season, they were one of the worst teams in the fourth quarter. As a Suns fan, watching them last year in the fourth quarter was so painful. But this year, they just seem more organized, and I think that can be contributed to Tyus Jones and Kevin Durant. During that stretch, Kevin Durant was just so clutch at making shots. But after the Mavs game, he suffered a left calf strain that took him out for 2 weeks. During that 2-week stretch, they had 7 games, and I thought the Suns might have a chance of being 3-4. But they really disappointed me and only went 1-6. And their only win was against the Utah Jazz, a team that is purposely tanking. I also have to note that Beal was hurt for some of these games, and it was just Booker being double teamed over and over. And most of those games were just him passing the ball to an open teammate for 90% of the games. When Kevin Durant returned, the Suns went on to win 3 of their next 4 games. But of course, he got a sprained ankle when he played against the Spurs in the NBA Cup, in a play where he was just driving to the rim and just tweaked his ankle in the second quarter. I was just hoping that he would be fine, but right after that happened, of course Durant didn't play the second half of the game, and Shams tweeted that Durant would be out for a week the next day. And Suns fans were just depressed. But the next 3 games the Suns had weren't that bad. It was the Pelicans, Heat, and Magic with no Paulo and friends. So I thought maybe they would be 2-1. And nope, the Suns lost all 3 games with no KD. And the record is now 12-10, tied for the 10th seed in the West. So after 23 games, are the Suns contenders? It's a simple answer. No, they're not. If you need your best player that is pushing 40 to win most of your games, that's just not a contender. The Suns are now 1-9 without KD. Your team should be able to win some of those games. The Mavericks this season are 5-1 without Luka Doncic. And the only All-Star on the Mavericks team is Kyrie Irving. So if this Suns team can't win 2 games with their 2 All-Stars, and the team is in trouble. One of the reasons this Suns team is so cheeks without KD is because of KD's defense. KD has the length to be a secondary rim protector that can block shots and make people miss. So when the Suns have KD, they are 11th in defense, and without KD, this team's defense is in the 20s. This Suns team without KD just don't have wings that have the length to defend. This team just has too many guards that are 6'5 and under. During the stretches that KD missed, the Suns would start Ryan Dunn that is 6'8 and Royce O'Neal that is 6'6 with 3 other guards that were 6'5 and under. So teams would just beat them with length and physicality. The most disappointing part of the season has to be the way Devin Booker is playing right now. I'm happy that he's been able to play all 23 games, but right now he's averaging 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists, which doesn't sound bad, but his efficiency is way below his normal standards. He's shooting 43.2% on field goals, 33.5% on threes, on 58% true shooting. Last season he was 49.2% on field goals, 36.4% on threes, on 61.1% true shooting. I know that Book usually has a slow start to the season, but when you have games where KD is out, the pressure is on him to be the All-NBA player that he is and win some games. Nobody is expecting him to win 100% of the games KD misses, but you have to at least win 40% of them. I don't know if Book is just tired from being in the Olympics or if it's Bud's system that's making him hesitate on offense, but there have been games where Devin Booker just looks weird on offense. A good example of this is when Book went driving to the rim in a Kings game, and he starts positioning himself to shoot a mid-range shot, and he gets blocked by Kevin Huerter. Yeah guys, the defensive menace Kevin Huerter. I was actually at the game when I saw this play, and I was so confused how Book let Huerter block him like that. Usually Book can just get his shot off easily and rise over his opponent. And I feel like I've seen a lot of those moments this season where Book just gets blocked by an opponent when he shouldn't be. I hope Book can lock in soon because the Suns need him to be his All-NBA self to even get a playoff spot in a tough Western Conference. I've always thought Book had the potential to be a top 5 player in the NBA and win an MVP award if everything goes right. But during these tough stretches, I think at his highest ceiling he's only a top 10 player and his floor is top 15. Book is just a tough shot maker, while players that are consistently in MVP conversations can get their own bucket consistently like Luka and SGA. I hope Book can prove me wrong in these next 25 games, but I might just be setting myself up for disappointment. One positive thing that I will say about Book this season is that I feel like his passing has gotten way better. I know it's not showing up on his stats, but when you watch the game, it feels like when Book drives to the rim, he's making these tough passes to open 3-point shooters. And now it's time to talk about the third star of the big 3, Bradley Beal. Beal so far into the season has just been Bradley Beal. When he plays good, but the problem is he always gets some random injury and is out for a couple games. I will say that he's played his role this year pretty good. He's playing good defense and good offense. If I'm being honest, my expectations aren't really high for Beal, to the point where if he misses games when KD and Book are healthy, I'm just like, okay, cool. However, when KD is out, I do expect more from him, and so far he's also been disappointing like Book. When I watch Book and Beal play, it just feels like I'm watching them be role players instead of all-stars. I hope in the next 25 games book and Bill can lock in because the team shouldn't be carried by a 36-year-old KD, especially when the role players have been playing really good this year. Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones, Mason Plumlee, and Monte Morris when he gets minutes have been really good. There hasn't been a game where I really blame the role players for a loss. Going into this season, I really thought Bobo was going to play really good, but Bud doesn't have him in the rotation when everyone is healthy. And Bo has gotten minutes with KD out, but every time he plays, he looks confused out there. Hopefully he can figure it out soon because last year he was really important in the second half of the season. There's only one role player that has been cheeks that I'll talk about later in the video. Just because the Suns aren't contenders right now doesn't mean they can't make trades that can help them make a push in the playoffs like the Mavs did last season. One of the weakest parts of the rotation for the Suns is the starting center spot, and they need one more wing in the rotation. Nurkic as your starting center isn't going to help you win games. I thought Nurkic was really good last season, but this year this man has been terrible. There have been more games where he has helped the Suns lose games than win this year. He just can't finish around the rim and isn't a lob threat. And the Suns just need a center that can be solid. If I were the Suns, I would be hitting up the Wizards for Valanciunas, Charlotte for Nick Richards, or the Magic for Goga. Because when the Magic are healthy, Goga loses minutes and is usually their third string center. With these different players, you will be adding a solid center that can be a starter for 20 to 25 minutes that won't be cheeks and can be a lob threat and finish around the rim. And then I would also be calling the Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith or the Detroit Pistons for Fontecchio. With these players, they give you wings with size that can shoot 35% from 3. As we get closer to the trade deadline, I will make a video on what the Suns should include in these trades to get it done, and go into more detail how these players can help the Suns be contenders. Another thing I wanted to talk about in this video is how the rookies have been doing for the Suns. In the offseason, the Suns drafted Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro, and I'm going to say both players have been good for the Suns and have kept me entertained while the other star players are being cheeks. Ryan Dunn started off the season shooting 45% from 3, but 23 games into the season, he's now shooting 31%. But that's what most Suns fans expected, especially from a guy that shot 20% from 3 in college. Plus, his defense has been amazing, so it's not that big of a deal. Oso has also been good. I love how the defense changes when he's in the game because he can switch. And he's a very smart and athletic basketball player that knows when to pass, when to cut, and can actually catch lobs, unlike Nurkic. I would say his weaknesses so far are his size and strength because he can get bullied by other bigger centers. Overall, I would say the rookies have been better than expected because they're actually getting rotation minutes in a team that's trying to win a championship. And plus, they aren't lottery draft picks. Ryan Dunn was picked at 28 and Oso Ighodaro was picked at 40. That's probably a bad sign if your team is depending on rookies to win playoff series, but I'd rather have these rookies than the players that the Suns had last year. Around this time last year, the Suns had the same record, 12-10, but they were depending on Yuta Watanabe, Keita Bates-Diop, Jordan Goodwin, and Chimezie Metu to have an impact on the team, when most of them were just cheeks and are out of the league now. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the one player I was looking most forward to that year was Yuta. I just thought he would be amazing as a shooter off the bench for the Suns. I was truly in Spain, but without the S when he didn't work out for the Suns. But Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro have just been better than them 23 games into the season. I also have to say that when the Rooks play with Kevin Durant, they just look awesome because they all play great defense together. And KD provides that extra length that Oso doesn't have. And that's why I also think the player that felt the most impacted with KD being out is Oso. Because like I said earlier, bigger centers have been able to dominate Oso while KD has been out. And it would have probably helped Oso if there was someone else who was longer in the paint that can block or steal the ball. It makes some centers think if they should really drive to the rim or not. My one hot take is that Oso is going to be the backup center for the team very soon, maybe by the trade deadline. I think Mason Plumlee has been good as a backup center, but for the playoffs, I want to have a center that can switch on anyone on defense. And that one center so far that can do that is Oso. And if the Suns don't like that, then I hope they can find a center that can be a rim protector and shoot threes, which is easy to say but hard to find. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And comment down below any of your thoughts on the Suns season so far. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos. I will be dropping another video around the 50 game mark to recap how the Suns are doing. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Bye, guys.